Hello, Tom Lavecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest, Ekin Ozlen, who I don't know if I could fully get all of her titles in. A model, influencer, CEO with multiple skincare lines, including CBD, a singer. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to get into it. So Ekin, welcome to the New Theory podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Tom. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off. Give us your formative years. Where did you grow up and kind of what makes you you?
Absolutely. So I was born in Turkey. Okay. So that's where it all kind of started. And then I grew up in this little tiny surf town you may be familiar with. It's called Cocoa Beach, Florida. Okay. If you've heard of Kelly Slater, he's definitely an icon he really put us on the map. My mom was an aerospace engineer. So because of NASA being there,
oh, wow.
We had moved there for her to work. And from then I started modeling. I got scouted sort of on the beaches of Cocoa Beach, and I became a Miss Reef Brazil model.
Oh, wow.
And I started traveling the world, I was probably about 18 at that time. And that led me to New York City rather quickly. Just being on the East Coast, it's like you go from Florida to New York. It's a likely progression. And especially when you're in the modeling industry, it's kind of, you go to Miami and then you go to New York and then you potentially go to Europe.
Yeah. Okay. So you got discovered, started modeling. So obviously I'm assuming you're doing it professionally.
Yeah.
New York, Milan, et cetera. I'm guessing runway, I guess at that point, fashion, because New York and Milan are a little bit more fashion centric. So it was more runway and fashion, or were you doing print as well?
I was actually a commercial print model. I'm not tall enough to do fashion. So I found my niche with Ford models in New York City, and they really made me their body girl. Having grown up on the beaches in Florida, I was very comfortable in my own skin, and especially in lingerie, bikini. So I started doing a ton of editorial, like Maxim, FHM, Men's Health, all those men's magazines. And then I started doing lingerie catalog and swimwear catalog. And because I started as a Miss Reef Brazil model, I don't know if you're familiar with that brand, but I was basically a calendar girl, and they traveled, I traveled all around the world globally with them, surf contests, signing autographs. I mean, thousands and thousands upon thousands, but it was incredible because I was so young and I was able to really see the world. They took me to South Africa, Switzerland, Germany, just everywhere you can imagine, South America.
So you had your launch and success as a commercial print model, which I was going to say, because I wasn't sure how tall you were. So I was guessing runway, but doing some commercial print and doing really well, which is fantastic. And how did that, because I interview a lot of celebrities and a lot of successful business people, et cetera. And one of the things is when I meet people who have some early success, and you earned it, obviously, because you can't show up there. You do have to work for it. But sometimes when you have early success and you find it a little bit easier, it's almost like, oh, wow, not that this is easy, but it's like, oh, wow, like I have some early success. Next thing I do, I have the hand of, the Midas, and everything I touch is going to turn to gold. So give us like kind of what happened after modeling. Like, were you, kind of financially successful, or was it more commercial success but not financial? And if so, what was the success like, and what was your next endeavor after modeling?
Well, I think, with every model, there comes an expiration date, regardless of your success. And in my
so hold on, models are like milk then? No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. That's an awesome analogy. But yeah, basically, going into that industry, it's not going to be a lifelong pursuit. There is an expiration date, sadly. And I was very mindful of that. I had an education. I had a bachelor's degree. So I was simultaneously going to school and traveling the world, modeling, trying to stay enrolled. There was a lot of things that were complex at that stage in my life. But I was picking up a lot of business techniques, actually from my agents, just watching them with the usage fees, with the contracts. Yeah. I was delegating a lot of things myself. It taught me a lot. And I didn't think that business would really be something that I got into. But I think I like money. I like making money, like the rest of us. So I think that, I had a psychology degree, and I had been doing all this modeling, and I always loved music. I was obsessed with writing poems, with singing. Since I was a child, I was performing for my parents, like on our fireplace mantle. I mean, I would make them go crazy, you know, all the time watching me perform. So I definitely had that performance vibe. And because I knew that modeling wasn't going to last forever, I just started segueing into the music scene in New York. And that was super easy because I was hanging out with a bunch of Brooklyn-based kind of freestyling hip hop guys. And I know that sounds intense and it sounds heavy and I'm a white girl and all the things, but they are poets and they just would break out into spontaneous word battles.
Yeah.
And it was so ridiculously inspiring for me. It was like, I literally was just blown away by how talented they were. And it inspired me to basically go and buy a Pro Tools rig and learn how to sound engineer because I had all these writings of poems. So I was like, you know what? I love to sing and I love to write. I'm going to do this. And so I just sat down and started figuring it out. And I started realizing, wow, this actually sounds kind of good. You know, and it was like, I've always been super creative. So it kind of started there with the whole music thing. It's modeling segued into music for me rather quickly. And then I started performing around New York City.
But it's interesting though, because you said something that, you know, hey, I heard these guys and maybe some gals and they were great and the genre happened to be hip hop. So rather than say, hey, let me go ahead and sing, you were actually thinking like a business person on the back end, let me go ahead and become the producer. Because you know this, you might own the publishing rights or, you know, if you become a producer, and I hate to say this, but although you need talent to sing, it's harder to produce. And then you could always find singers, or it's harder to write and produce than it is just to sing. So that was kind of cool that you kind of went back of the house first into the front end. So then at that point you modeled, you have a university degree, you're starting to sing. Is that kind of your primary vocation, or you have like a day job? Like I want to find that affliction.
Oh yeah, no, I lived and breathed the lifestyle of a professional model. I mean, every day I was running around the city castings. You're basically going to job interviews every single day, trying to get hired, like every day. And it's just based really upon your appearance and your network. So it was, I was with every breath of the word, a professional model. That's what I did.
What was your best experience as a model?
I think it was all the amazing people that I was able to interact with, you know, versus having a traditional job where I would have just showed up at an office and I would have been working pretty much around the same crew of people. Yeah. With this industry, it's like you show up on set and you show up on a production and the art director is different, the photographer is different, the stylist, the makeup artist, everybody's different. And it keeps it really fun and interesting. And I think the number one thing is for sure the traveling. I mean, it helped me be so cultured.
God, let me narrow it down a bit. So although I do appreciate the answer to give the context, give me your single best day as a model.
My single best day as a model was probably shooting with this really amazing photographer for Elle magazine. And they had wrapped me in liposuction cannulas. I know that sounds weird, but they had wrapped my body in liposuction cannulas. And just showing up on set, it was just like, oh my God, I'm like seriously shooting with Elle right now.
It doesn't sound weird to me because those that know me, we are our marketing firm, X Factor Media. We just basically promote and market plastic surgeons. So it's not as weird to me. We might actually steal that concept from one of our surgeons. So that's pretty cool. What about your worst day as a model?
My worst day as a model was not being told that I was going to have to shoot nude. So my agent neglects to tell me this. I show up and there's like a whole studio full of people. And it was like, I got to do what? You know, and you're like, that kind of required like some preventative, you know, you got to let me know these things. I need to know stuff like that. Like,
and that was
the stuff that you enjoy as a model.
A company like Ford, you generally have like, hey, here's what I'll do, here's what I won't do. And then you gotta get like a sheet before you go. And when you get there, like assuming, especially at that level, but
yeah, call sheet. Mm-hmm.
The call sheet, that's what it's called. And but nevertheless, okay, so if that's the worst day, not the worst thing in the world. I heard worse, so that's good. So okay, so modeling, starting to sing. Walk us through so now I kind of fast forward a little bit. You now have a skincare line, and in that skincare line, it's infused with CBD. So give us kind of how you kind of came along that thread.
Okay, so because the type of modeling I did was so body-based, what really matters much in getting those jobs and booking those types of jobs is your skin. The skin clarity, like do you have bumps? Do you have brown spots? Do you have pores? That was really what was going to get you the job over the next girl. I mean, it's such a saturated and competitive industry. They're all beautiful. You know the drill. So it really came down to your skin and hair. And at that point, I was married to a plastic surgeon in New York City, and I was really helping him. Yeah. So I was really helping him build his practice.
You're allowed to share the name, or you got to tell me offline?
Well, he's actually passed away now, sadly.
Hi, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was really rough. But, you know, being around him, it really taught me so much. It taught me so much about skin, about the way accelerating healing processes. You know, I would sit in on surgeries with him. I would scrub in and I would watch, and he would be like doing my friend's rhinoplasty, her tummy tuck, her, you know, breast implants. And I'm like, whoa, you know, just sitting there like so fascinated. So that really is where I started obsessing with how to make my skin as flawless as possible, and to do it with as little downtime, number one, right? Because I was working so much. I couldn't have like bruises and bumps and things, you know. So basically I started picking like microdermabrasion machines out for his office. You know, I got into the skincare buying. I was really into it. And that it just taught me so much. Between all of the professionals that I worked with on the modeling side, the best hairdressers, the best makeup artists, I mean, by far, I was around a very elevated group of people that were absolute experts in their field. And I was like a sponge that's kind of just sucking all this information in from the medical side with my husband, and then from the industry side of those professionals.
Interesting. So CBD is more of a newer trend. So did you launch as a CBD infused product, or did you launch as a traditional skincare? And what CBD?
We actually are a human stem cell extract based product line. CBD pairs very well with that. But I started out with Keracell just being human stem cell extract based products. So when this whole CBD thing came about, I absolutely wanted to get into that because I saw the results and I saw how it was reducing inflammation and lessening downtime. Like I said, for it's naturally antimicrobial. I mean, it helps you sleep. I go on and on, anxiety, all the things, right? But it gets rid of eczema, you know, psoriasis, all blemishes. It was like, oh, I have to have that in the formulations. I mean, human stem cell extract itself is already going in and attacking the aging process like a wound. When you carry that over with CBD, it just intensifies the benefit.
Now, I'm trying to, how can I put this? Not as much in the skincare space, but in the overall plastic surgery regimen, stem cells was a little bit hyped more, like it kind of where it was promised to be and where it kind of landed. I kind of feel is a little underwhelming, and I don't know if it's more, hasn't been enough data, or maybe the doctors weren't good who like did the stem cell facelifts and that kind of stuff. Just my experience has been stem cells as a procedure hasn't really hit the mainstream as much. Would you agree with that statement, or do you maybe disagree?
I think that companies like mine are helping put it on the map in a great way.
That's what I was going to say. Okay. So then you went down a path that's like, hey,
because I'm in major retail.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. And what's going on is it's all about education. People are naive. They're afraid. They don't understand the technology. Yeah. So with my product line, I've been able to basically put it into major retail outlets like Macy's and Dillard's. These are very conservative and very trusted retail outlets. So people automatically lend credibility to stem cell terms when they hear it paired with companies like that. So that's why I really went after major retail, because I was trying to make Keracell and human stem cell extract based products a household name, because like wants like. Our cells are activated
correct
by human stem cell extract.
Well, really quick, that's one of the things that fascinates me. When I got the pitch, I was like kind of like ruminating a little bit. We're like, if you're going to start a skincare line, let's be candid, it's the barriers to entry are not as high as it used to be, right?
Right.
But if you want to do a stem cell, or obviously stem cell extract skincare line, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different class. As you know, to make your product is a lot more expensive. To procure your product a lot more expensive. And more importantly, a lot of people don't carry it for that reason. So give us, what's your number one bestseller? What does it do and how does it work?
So we really got put on the map because of an anti-hair loss system that we have. I have clients like Demi Moore, Erin Foster, Deborah Messing.
Oh, wow.
Kate Hudson grew her hair back after a movie role from using our hair products. So I really did like a grassroots style kind of launch. You know, it was all word of mouth because I live in LA and because I have a lot of access to people. Yeah. I've been around for a while, you know, I've been in this industry for a while. So I've definitely leveraged my network, and I would encourage anyone that's an entrepreneur to do the same. Even if you're moving across industries, you know, you take that network with you. And again, that's how my modeling background really helped me procure this network that I have. And I've been able to spread the word about the intensity and the benefit and the results driven product line that I have. So it's been really wonderful to use people like that and to really help them grow their hair back. Growing your hair it's such an emotional situation when people are losing their hair. So it's been really wonderful to be able to help people through that. That's what I really love about what I do. Our hair products really work. They're clinically validated. And I mean, there's numerous, you know, pieces of data we have and clients that have really honestly said, oh my gosh, I don't have to wear a hat anymore. Or a bride that's getting married, I can change the way I wear my veil. I don't have to hide my hairline because I'm losing hair. You know, the hormonal shifts, stress, all the stress that's going on right now, it really affects your hair and your hair loss.
Now, you mentioned that Macy's and Dillard's. Yeah, give us, you know, because in terms of stem cell, the marketing channels, you said, the barriers to entry are a little higher. So, you know, where you carried and give us a little bit of background in terms of the sales.
Absolutely. So we started out with plastic surgeons and dermatologists, obviously. That's where we got our street cred. Yeah. And then we segued into major retail, and that really started with Dillard's. And I was very proud of Dillard's because, as conservative as they are, they picked up the whole CBD line and put it in all their doors. Oh, wow. So I was actually blown away by that. And it was so inspiring to me to see. And that's when CBD was really new in skincare. So that's been an incredible partnership for us. Macy's as well carries the whole pro line. We're still in physicians across the nation. We're about to gain entry to Mexico. I'm very excited about that. And we just inked a contract with Shop HQ, oh, wow. Which is, a home shopping network style.
Wow. Okay. So this is a lot. So, you know, you have a successful skincare line. You're kind of running that and doing that. And I like the, you know, having a plastic surgery heritage in terms of marketing. Yeah. It's like an underutilized channel. You kind of have like 3 or 4 big players in a space and not many there. So, and there's definitely not stem cell extract, and there's not a lot of CBD in the plastic surgery space.
Exactly.
But the data and the property is really getting there where, like, you know, even a surgeon who's, you know, clinically focused could say, wow, there's enough data, let's go ahead and carry this. So I like that a lot. But then now you have a song that you launched. So tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So basically I couldn't let go of the music. You know, no matter what was going on with my beauty line, I couldn't let go. It's just, it's my favorite. So I took the products and I just started putting them within the music videos. And it was like, okay, I'm checking both boxes. You know, I can still consider this work for me and I'm doing good by the brand. But what it really did is it helped the brand kind of become more, not only likable, but more relatable. You know, it's such a high science brand, and bringing music into the fold, I feel like it just made it much more user friendly for people. And so with the pandemic going on, you know, obviously we wanted to get on this hand sanitizer thing. So we went ahead and we launched our CBD hand sanitizer within the Where You At music video with Mexican sensation Vadir Derbez.
I saw that. Is that under the Keracell brand, or is that another brand you're working on?
Well, Keracell CBD, Keracell MD, it's all under the Keracell umbrella.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting go-to-market strategy. So I'm going to launch it in a music video with a Mexican pop artist. It's like 500,000 views already. So like Mexican pop artist.
Oh yeah, he's huge. He's amazing. And then Roxy Ferrari, she's a world-renowned DJ. I mean, she is as smoking hot and provocative as they come. Like I've got nothing on her. So you got to check her out.
And did you sing on the track as well? Because I did a little research,
I
but research here requires like a team, so I didn't get to all the music. You sang on the track?
Yeah, for sure. I sing the hook. The most important part.
Are you gonna belt out a little sample for us?
You guys gotta check it out. The video is really awesome. We shot it in downtown LA. I put my 1942 Willys Jeep in it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you got a lot of things going on, and I really do. I got to check that out. I'll put a link below. I'll put a link to the Keracell brand. So like, you're like a shark. You definitely don't sit still. So what's next? Talk about what's next.
You know, for me right now, we just shot an infomercial right after the music video finished shooting over the summer. You know, I threw myself into just how do I go direct to consumer? Because I'm really vulnerable, you know, with doctors' offices all shut down across the nation, with major retail shut down. I was like, wait a minute, this is not feeling safe for me. I need to try to fix this, level it out. So I was like, let's go straight to TV and straight to digital. So that's basically what we did. And right now we're literally buying advertising space, and it's edited, it's ready to go.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say, because one of the lost arts of marketing has been direct response infomercials, like the Lori Greiner, you know, half-hour media buy. You can't sleep at 2 a.m.
That's exactly it.
You know,
yeah.
Like a mini one, and my favorite is like the My Pillow guy. Like, he's everywhere.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy did it. I mean, he's amazing. What an amazing businessman. And I don't know if you know much about his life, but whoa.
Oh, he almost died and was like kidnapped in Mexico or lost in Mexico.
Exactly.
He got like a heroin addiction, all that kind of stuff. And his story is amazing. And although it's a smaller version, that direct to consumer, you know, and there's reasons why, like, you know, probably better than anybody, to film even a 20-minute infomercial is hugely expensive.
Oh my God, it was so expensive.
It's ridiculous. And then obviously, you know, now it's a little better with website stuff, but like to have like a call center and, you know, that kind of stuff, then you sign them up, and then it's like, you gotta, you know, if it's going to be, you know, monthly, you know, it's a lot, you know, but the cool thing though, is if you have the production value, I kind of feel that barriers to entry are lower in a sense where you could throw it up on YouTube. You could maybe put it on like different video streaming channels and don't get me wrong, you still got to do the traditional buys, but you might be able to reach competitors or customers a little less expensive because of that. So I'm gonna did you do the infomercial or you had somebody do it?
Oh no, I fully, you know, because of what I do with this whole music background and modeling background, I have tons of contacts when it comes to production. So I've basically just taken every single thing in my hat and thrown it into the pile. And that's kind of the way that I run my business. I'm like, what can I give here? What can I do? How do I make this a success? And, you know, ultimately it's on me at the end of the day if it isn't.
So, which I could see being hard on yourself, which you shouldn't, because you got a lot of things cooking.
Thanks.
You're making it look easy. So what has been one of your biggest F-ups to date, and what was the result?
Oh gosh, there's been so many.
No, trust me, I know.
I mean, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with knowing what to do when you create something. Yeah. It's like, if you don't have the right promotion behind your music video, if you don't have the right team, it literally takes a village. I mean, you hear that all the time, but if you don't have a plan, you've got nothing. Like, it doesn't matter how great that piece of material is or how great that single is. If you don't have the right plan in play, like, don't even bother. You got to start there. So I think in the beginning, like, I made a lot of music with a lot of really talented people, and I had no freaking clue how to promote it or what to do with it. And I got people involved that literally just wanted to get paid. And I think that really ate up a lot of my time in the music industry.
Well, how do you, and it's a question, because okay, so let's just imagine you started a skincare line and you weren't Ekin Ozlen, right? Like, you didn't have your connectivity, you didn't have the resources, maybe being in the kind of the, you know, you're in the beauty space and entertainment space, right? I don't want to call it the real world, but the real world, you know, it's like, hey, you gotta, you know, you pay for things, or you have access to things, or you hire people, or you fire people, that kind of stuff. But in the entertainment world specifically, there's a lot of bartering and like, hey, I know somebody, and which is good because you get stuff done less expensive. But
Totally.
on the token, it gets tricky where like it's like flaky as fuck, you know, it's like flaky and like it's difficult like to do.
Shady is a good word.
That's what I'm. There you go, Giuseppe. That's what I'm saying. So like, how do you balance out like, hey, I gotta get a job to done like that, but that one producer's like, oh my god, I got you, and like, oh, it's on me, I won't even charge you, but to like take you 8 weeks to like, yeah. How did you get through that like environment while not going crazy?
Oh yeah, Tom. I mean, it was a super bumpy road for me. You know, I got involved with a lot of people that did me dirty, and that, you know, they maybe didn't give me the track, or like it didn't come out the way I wanted, or they changed the beat on me, or I was supposed to collaborate with this artist and then they threw another one in there, and I'm like, what? You know, there's so many things, so many ways the music thing can really burn you. And I would definitely say that at times I was a victim of that for sure. But you know, you kind of just keep it moving. It's like life is short, and you've got to seize opportunities, and you've got to conquer your fears, and you've got to just keep going, you know, don't ever give up.
And what's your advice, because we're going to conclude soon, what's your advice to any, let's say, female entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs starting out? It seems the first lesson was, you know, use your network, your connectivity. The second is keep moving. What's a final piece of advice that you would share with the audience?
I mean, I think for me, it's just been about, you know, maintaining your confidence and knowing what you set out to do, like never letting go of that, like keep marching forward. Like I said, life is short. You've got to conquer your fears, and you've got to really seize the opportunities and make the most of what you create. Just because one thing fails, it doesn't mean that pieces of that, threads of that can't be carried forward into ventures in the future. And that's exactly what I think I've done. I'm a perfect example of that. Taking pieces of wisdom in life and just carrying them forward into the next venture.
I love it. And definitely have your hands in a few different pots. I got the pleasure of asking you a lot of questions. Is there a question that I didn't ask that you wish I asked?
I think that you were amazing. I think you asked me everything that really mattered.
First time I heard that one.
Yeah, I liked your vibe.
So where can we find you?
So you can find me at Ekin_Ozlen on Instagram, or you can go to my website, www.imekin.com. For the Keracell products, definitely just go to Keracell.com.
Now, I noticed you have a pretty strong social media following. Now, did you build up your audience when you modeled and you had some celebrity, or did you like get out of that world and you just like launch from scratch from when social media kind of got big?
Yeah, because social media, oh my God, if there was Instagram when I was a Reef Brazil model, I would have as many followers as I don't even know who right now. But it wasn't around. So I definitely did not do anything like that. I started just like everybody else and just started grinding, you know, and used it as a way to reach people just like everybody else does. And make no mistake, it is a grind. I mean, that in itself is a job.
And what are you biggest on? Are you biggest on IG?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was going to let you go, but I have one more question. One of the things challenges that I have is right. So I have a lot of clients, right? And so you were my client. I like the fact that you're big on Instagram, and I'm big on like staying in your lane and the right message, the right place at the right time, right? But what do you do when like but you know, social media ages up too, right? So what do you do about new mediums like TikTok and the like, Snapchat? And is it like, you know, do you kind of go down that route and transfer your audience over? Do you kind of maybe leave it alone because it's not your jam? Walk us through like, how, you know, newer mediums come out. How do you tackle them?
You know, TikTok, I just let that one fly right by me because I was like, I'm not even going there. That's way too, I'm getting older, and that's like a young thing. That's the way that I looked at that. And plus I have my hands full. Like I just could, if I'm going to really put my energy into something, I want to do it all the way. Hence when OnlyFans came out, I was like, oh, now this is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually get paid for all the work that I do and I bust my ass every day on this.
Yeah.
Now this I like. And so I'm telling all my friends, like Roxy, who's in my music video, she's killing it on OnlyFans. And it's not that she's doing anything pornographic.
Yeah.
It's just she's doing her hot stuff that she does on Instagram, but she's making money for it. And I salute that. I think that that's amazing. Like, why should we be working so hard and giving away all this content for free?
Well, it's interesting because if you think about, if you are a content provider in any form, right? If it's G-rated, let's say you have, or even PG rated, you have YouTube as a medium, pretty straightforward, right? But the revenue shares, you probably know, is not great with AdSense and that kind of stuff, right? So you have OnlyFans as an opportunity, and I tend to not follow as much on OnlyFans, but nevertheless, it's a medium that makes sense because you could charge a subscription or you could charge per piece the content that you want to do. And let's be honest, some of it tends to be on the other side, and that's okay too. But that's the thing, it's liberating, meaning like, hey, I create content and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And I create an OnlyFans account. I get to direct myself directly with my audience, even interact, obviously. And I just think OnlyFans is like the best thing ever. To be candid, like during the COVID, I think that accelerated OnlyFans. Not just Beyonce mentioning it, but
you are absolutely correct. People started thinking outside of the box, and you know, OnlyFans has a stigma, kind of like human stem cell had a stigma, right? Yeah. So in that regard, I kind of see them both as like, this is both going to go mainstream. OnlyFans is going to go totally mainstream, just like Instagram. Yeah. But the thing is, you need your Instagram page to, they're not enemies. They need each other. You're going to feed people from Instagram to your OnlyFans page. So I think that I'm a big supporter of OnlyFans. I think it's great for the content creators finally to be getting what they deserve. And they get 80% of whatever the subscription fee is. Wow. It's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a major revenue share.
Yeah. So if you have millions of followers on IG, I mean, that's a real number now.
Well, so interesting enough is, and before your time, definitely before your time, but back then, do you remember like the bait? I don't think you remember, but the bait, do you remember VHS even or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'm older than I look. I just have really great skincare.
There you go. I'm as old as I look, but so with beta versus VHS was kind of like a standoff. And the reason why VHS won is because candidly, pornography or porn was made from VHS, and that's why they won that battle.
No way.
Yeah, so believe it or not, that industry, and even DVD as well, so that versus Blu-ray, so that industry tends to be the pioneer in creating content on certain mediums. So I kind of feel OnlyFans is going to have that same effect, where maybe in 3, 5, 10 years from now, there might be a Mickey Mouse OnlyFans account. You never know. So
J-Lo's going to have an OnlyFans soon. Mark my words.
That's it.
Beyonce, it's all going to happen.
I love it. So we'll put the links below. Ekin, this was I had high expectations. This exceeded those expectations. We'll put the links below.
Thank you.
And we'll check you out. And thank you for being on the New Theory podcast.
Thank you so much, Tom. Stay safe. I really appreciate it.